Okay, coaches, welcome to my YouTube channel. This week, I've been talking about tackling. And so I put out on Twitter, where do you go as a coach to learn about tackling? I go to a lot of different places to kind of get different drills as a coach. And it seemed like everyone recommended the guy I'm about to introduce to come on and talk tackling. And so I've looked at a couple of his resources, and I think he's going to talk a little bit tonight about philosophy and drills and different things. But Coach Smith at HHH Tackling, and I hope I'm saying that correct, Coach, is kind of become, the guy that a lot of people go to. And I respect when coaches recommend somebody, that usually means they're on top of their game. And I've heard really, really good things. So, Coach, that was my short introduction. You might want to give him a little more background, but this is Coach Spencer Smith with HHH Tackling.
Thank you, Coach, for having us on today, or having me on. I don't really have too much to say about myself. We started the academy with the intentions of, changing the game of football for the better and teaching a more effective and safer way to tackle. We're going on year 6 right now. So we're just really trying to, make that impact, every day in the game. So, the Triple H stands for head up, hit low, hold on. Those are 3 essential things that we believe that you do in a tackle. You'll be pretty successful, but, that's really all I have. I'm not too much into talking too much about myself, but, we're based out here in Atlanta, and, our goal is to, change the way that coaches are taught and players are taught how to tackle.
Good. Okay, make sure I got it too. So, Coach, the Triple H is head up, okay, hit low, and hold on. I like that. Mm-hmm. I like the different ways you can teach, because tackling's been around forever, but the way I was taught to tackle is probably why I don't walk real well anymore, because it was in it and all that, and be a man. And then it's changed a lot. It's made me change a lot. So that's where I wanted to kind of get with you is talk about, in our game today. I know I coach mainly on the offensive side of the ball now, but I've coached on both, and I'm a head coach, so I have to know both. It seems like spatial tackling has become something that teams are really having to get much better at, because now the evolution of the spread offense, the RPO game, or even if they're running an option, my whole goal as an offensive player is to make you guys on the other side of the ball tackle me one-on-one. And so when we talk about tackling, when you kind of look at your types of tackles, and I'm not going to make you go through the whole litany tonight, because I'm sure you got 100 different things on there, but how do you rank the importance of tackles as far as like what tackle are we going to teach first for our kids, or what tackle is the tackle we better make sure we're really good at, or do you put them in categories, or do you just teach the general idea of it and how it translates inside of a game?
Yeah, so we really try and keep it simple. I think simple is better. I think the less the athlete has to think, the faster they can play. So when we talk about tackling, we actually have 3 styles of tackles: lock, chop, and drag. So my acronym is LCD, the clear way to tackle. A lock is our head up tackle, like an open field tackle. Our chop is our angle tackle, which is about 80% of football. And then our drag is, in pursuit and coming from behind. But all 3 of those tackles all have the 3 same principles. When we talk about, getting into position, establishing contact, and finishing, the core values of what we teach are all the same. We teach cheek-to-cheek head placement. So the styles of what we teach, not much changes, just the situation and kind of knowing where you're at on the field and how to play it and stuff like that. But in terms of how we teach the tackle, we really try and keep it consistent in one way.
Okay, good. No, because I like that too. So chop would be what most coaches would probably call like a profile tackle. It's your angle tackle, kind of from wherever flavor you're going to bring them from. Drag was from behind. And you said lock was the other one. And I'm assuming, is that like if you're teaching these in a progression, like, you're out there day 1, you're the defensive coordinator, we're going to do a tackling drill today, day 1, day 2. Coaches, we like to be randomly organized. I don't know if that's the best way to do it, but we like to kind of know what's coming. On that lock, chop, drag, do you go one and then the other, or how are you kind of progressing those up?
It's really chop is the ones that we're we're mainly focused on to start with, because that's really football. Especially even just with how players run the ball, they're not really trying to run through players anymore. They're trying to make moves and get the angle. So chop is really where we start at. But the first thing we start with when we teach is we really just start with head placement. It doesn't matter really which tackle we're teaching the same head placement. And that's where we start, because we feel like if they know where they're trying to get to and where they're trying to finish, they know how it'll be easier to teach them how to get into position from that point.
Okay. Well, talk a little bit about head placement, because I think that you mentioned that in Triple H, that was one of the things, was keeping your head out of the tackle, but it also is important, where do you put your head? Because closing that space, I'm not a tackling guru, but I know that you don't want space. So where are you teaching head placement?
We call it cheek to cheek. So it means the cheek of my face to the butt cheek of the ball carrier, which is always keeping my leverage. And as a defensive guy, and, as working with a lot of defensive coordinators, I always hear them, maintain your leverage. You're supposed to be inside out, or you're supposed to be outside in. You're the support player. But yet the support player is supposed to put his head across the tackle, which allows the player to get back outside of them. So in terms, we want the player to cut in, so that actually the cheek to cheek puts you in position to turn the play inside, and keeps your defense clean and allows your other players to flow, and allows a 2-on-1 tackle rather than always just having to be a 1-on-1.
That's good, Coach. I like the way you teach it. We always try to teach the near hip and outside hip, but I like the idea of because you're putting your cheek down. So the second part of the H was hit low. Is that right, or was it hold?
Hit low.
Okay, so let's kind of go through that. So I'm assuming we've got cheek to cheek, hit low. Is that why the idea of getting my head down to where I'm going?
Well, yeah, and just if you hit low, our goal is to take away the legs. And they always say the low man wins. So even a linebacker coming off the block needs to be lower than the ball carrier, so we always want to be the lowest man. I had to change the H's. The real Triple H was my nickname in college. It meant hard hitting Howley, and Howley means white boy in Hawaii. So I figured, to be politically correct, I had to probably change the terms of the Triple H, and to make it have some meaning. But the head up and hit low, those are just not really in terms of what we're teaching, the progression. It's just really two essential keys that we believe that are in there. And the hold on is just a huge part of the tackle.
Okay. All right. Well, let's go a little bit because I know you've got probably a library of drills, and I know people can go and get some of those, but do you have any on like chop, or maybe just a simple easy one you can kind of describe? So I'm assuming guys that are on here are probably listening because if you're like me, philosophy is important, and you do need to know why you're doing what you're doing, but we also love a drill or something we can put in and how that plays out. So when you go, before you give us anything, you can do whatever you want to on this, but how do you build drills? I mean, do you look at kind of what is your philosophy behind, hey, these are the drills we're going to use? Are you we want a lot of different flavors because it catches different kids? Or are you I'm a big meat and potatoes guy where we're going to run the same about 5 drills or less over and over and over and over and really harp on that?
A little bit of both. The drills, I come up with are, a lot of ones that I've learned, from my dad, who's a big rugby coach or was a big rugby coach, and drills that he's learned and drills that I've seen. And, a lot of, I've developed some myself, but, a lot of it's just evolving what I've learned from other coaches and just trying to make it better. And so another kid can learn a little bit better. But, the first drill we do, we call it the triangle. That's just what we do no matter what to start. It doesn't matter what tackle you're doing. I normally don't really focus on the lock, chop, and drag as much. That's just, I have that just in terms of breaking down film and stuff like that. But the kids don't really, they're not, necessarily too concerned with it. They just want to get the guy down to the ground. So we mainly focus on position, contact, and finish. Those are the three things that we focus on with our athletes. The lock, chop, and drag is mainly kind of for coaching and, you know, stuff like that. But for the kids, it's about position, contact, and finish. So, you know, we start with the triangle drill. We have our first two drills we have on YouTube. But the triangle drill is the first thing we do. Is three guys in a group. I mean, I can show you the drill if you like on my screen.
Yeah, put it on, Coach. And then what I'm going to do, guys that are kind of paying attention here, is I will drop Coach's YouTube channel or other information in the description. So as you guys are kind of going through, if you're watching here, as we're transitioning, you know, and I'm sure he's got plenty of other materials. You can kind of go through there and then maybe find some more of what you're looking for.
Let's pull up my YouTube here.
All right, guys, I'm wondering if I got to make you a host here. Let's see. Yeah, I'm going to make you a host, Coach, and that way, I believe now you can share what you share.
Share. All right, so all right, you see my screen, Coach?
Yes, sir. You're good.
Okay.
There.
All right.
So we don't have
so this is the first drill. Should I turn off the volume?
Hi, I'm Coach Spencer Smith with HHH Tackling Academy. Today we're here to go over some basic fundamental drills. Today we're going to go over a drill that you can really implement on the first day of spring practice or fall practice with your whole team. Hi, and our tackling.
Can you hear the video, Coach, or no?
Yeah, I can hear the video loud, Coach. It's pretty good. I don't hear you real well, but I hear the video. By the way, I'm loving the short sleeve hoodies. That seems to be a theme with you, Coach. It looks good.
It's like my Belichick, you know. But it's like, but I don't cut them. I get them made like that. So it's kind of like the new Belichick, you know.
Good. Good. Yeah, we can hear it real loud, Coach. If you want to, you can play it that way, or you can just talk over it however you want to go. So
yeah, I'll just let it play, if that's okay.
Fine with me.
How we go about it is you have groups of three. They make a triangle. This is how it's going to be set up here. We have our tackler facing one way. You can have them all the way down the line. We have two ball carriers. They're going to face forward. Our ball carriers are up high, and our tackler's in a set position ready to tackle. And so this is how it's going to go. Tackler's going to make one tackle to his right, pop up, one tackle to his left, pop up, another to his right, and another to his left. So in the whole thing, he's going to make 4 tackles. So our main emphasis here when we first start teaching the tackle is cheek to cheek. And what that means is having the cheek of our face to the butt cheek of our ball carrier, keeping our head from going across, getting away from any knees, any lowering of the shoulders and or of the helmet. Okay, so here we're really concentrating on keeping our eyes up and getting our head right on his backside. So here we go, going right, then left. Set. Good, very good. Getting nice and tight. Squeezing that ear to our shoulder. Squeezing that ear to our shoulder. Set. Good. And then
like I said, so they'll make 4 tackles there. So they'll go 2 and 2, and then what the heck's going on here? You see me here, Coach?
Yeah, you're good, man. How you guys?
For some reason that's recording. Yeah, my phone's going nuts. But they'll make 4 tackles, 2 to each side, and then they'll rotate through. You know, the first time through, all I'm talking about is cheek to cheek. So if they don't wrap, I'm not saying a word about it. If their eyes are down, I'm saying eyes up, cheek to cheek. But that's all we're talking about. I'm not talking about anything but cheek to cheek. Because a lot of times we try and overcomplicate, like, hey, you wrapped up, and then they're thinking about wrapping, and then they're forgetting about cheek to cheek. And when we're trying to teach something, like you said, you got to drill this into the guys. So we try and just drill cheek to cheek for 4 tackles, and then the next guy goes for 4 tackles, and all they hear is cheek to cheek, and then the next guy goes for 4 tackles, and all they hear is cheek to cheek. So for 12 reps, all they hear is cheek to cheek. And then the next time through, we'll go through another 4 times. We'll go cheek to cheek again, and we'll talk about an active shoulder. An active shoulder is tackling with the meat of our chest and shoulder here. rather than the top, which most people think that you want to tackle with. And when you tackle with the top, most people think you want to tackle with the top because of the pads. But when I do that, my head's down. When my eyes are up, I'm getting this part here. So it's keeping my chest up, and I have more protection. So I want to tackle with the meat of my chest. And we call that an active shoulder. So the second time through, all they're hearing is cheek to cheek, active shoulder. Once again, that's 12 reps. So 24 reps they've heard cheek to cheek, 12 reps they've heard active shoulder, and they've gotten 8 tackles each already. And then we'll go through a third time and we'll talk about the wrap and making it tight. And then we'll go through. So, they'll make 12 tackles. I'd go 3 to 4 times the first time through. So they make 12 to 16 tackles each, 5 to 10 minutes.
Good. No, that's impressive, Coach. I like first couple things you mentioned, the rugby. How much of that are you training? Just hearing you and knowing a little bit about rugby tackling, it seems like that's something you're bringing all the way over. I mean, it seems like that's kind of your whole philosophy. Is that accurate?
Yeah. Oh yeah. Yeah. Yes, sir. Yeah. I don't vary from it. I played tackling that way in football, and I never once had a concussion, never once had a shoulder injury. I didn't play in the NFL, but played at a pretty high level in college. And, I didn't miss many tackles to my knowledge. I missed a few, I'm sure, but I was a short tackler. That's what I kind of prided myself on.
I'm a fan of that, Coach. You got a fan? Yeah. One fan.
Yeah. No, I'm just saying, that's just, I don't vary from it. Like, I'm not like the hawk tackle where it's different on different things. Like we teach one way.
All the way through. Good.
Mm-hmm.
And then Coach, I've never heard of the active shoulder, and I've done a little bit of rugby tackling, a little bit of the hawk, and I've kind of that grab bag. So I kind of want to wrap up here with this is if somebody wants to dive all in with you, and I've heard nothing but good things from the guys that have done that. How do they do that? How do they contact you? Where do they go to get more?
You can go to any of my social media platforms right now. My website's kind of under construction, but you can go to any of my social media on Twitter, HHH Tackling Academy, Instagram's HHH Tackling Academy, Facebook HHH Tackling Academy. Phone number, you can call me or text me, 404-323-7162. Or email at HHHTacklingAcademy@gmail.com. However you need to get a hold of me, you can. Sorry if you hear my daughter in the background.
Hey, man, don't. I got 3 kids. Don't you ever be ashamed of your kid, man. That's pretty cool.
Yeah.
You get to stay home a little bit with them. That's awesome. Well, Coach, I will put some of those in the description too for guys that might be watching. And guys, I know that personally, just that one drill, that's something we're going to do. I've always done the on the knees tackling, but I kind of like the way you dressed it up, and then some of your verbiage was good. I think I'm the guy, unfortunately, that tells them 15 things, and I don't know if they're getting any of it. So I really liked how you kept it nice and clean. And I appreciate you coming on here, Coach, and your time. And hopefully the guys that are watching, go hit up Coach on Twitter or Instagram, or just send him an email if you're an old guy like me, and maybe get him involved. And so, if a coach wants to bring you in and say, hey, look, do you have like a system they can go get, or do you do more of this where you call and talk with them and do that? I mean, what's the way you usually like to operate?
So I'm actually working on a kind of a virtual clinic, just because with all the COVID and everything like that, I just figured it might be something beneficial for the coaches because they might not be able to get out and based off certain regulations and all that. But normally what we do is we do a 3-day clinic. And what that entails is we'll come out to the school. But the first day is we actually do a coach's clinic prior to the players clinic. Because I may bring out 1 or 2 coaches with me, but I don't bring out a staff. The coach, like if I was to come to you, your staff would become my staff. For the 3 days where I would, that first coaching clinic day, we would teach the coaches what we're going to teach, the drills that we're going to do for the next 3 days. And then the next 3 days, they're going to be coaching with me. And, if they have any questions on how to do it, or on certain drills while we're doing certain things. Afterwards we can have those conversations. But when I first started, I'd go to places and they'd be like, "Man, it was fantastic," and I always get questions. "Hey, what drill can I do? What can we do here?" So I wanted to make it more about the coaches, because it's not about when we're there, it's about when we're gone. What can the coaches continue on? And that's what's going to make, our impact is when all the coaches are doing this together. So, we start with a coaches clinic, and then we go into the players clinic with the coaches, and then we kind of just go through it together.
That sounds pretty cool, Coach. And I'm sure they'll email you or get with you on social media some way. You can give more details on that.
Yeah, price. I don't have a price. Like, it's all based off of where we're going, how many athletes. I can boutique it to any program, based if they want to go by one large group or if they want to go by positions. We can do it many different ways and boutique it to each program's needs.
Okay. Well, man, like I said, Coach, I appreciate you coming on, and I appreciate all your time. And to me, I get asked a lot by a lot of coaches that will come and just because I'm older, I guess, and think I know things, and they'll ask about coaching things up. And to me, it's always been the fundamentals. If you're not really good at tackling, you can run whatever scheme you want, and you're probably going to suck on defense. So make sure you're good at tackling, and then your other stuff will look really, really good. And that's something we've tried to pride myself on. I've been doing this whole week studying on it. I mean, I'm really glad I ran into you, and really glad you took the time to come on. And I'm not going to take you away from your daughter too much, Coach.
Oh, no problem. Thanks for having us. And, my recommendation is to all the coaches is start tackling tomorrow. So if you haven't started, maybe start the triangle drill tomorrow with your players, and, practice makes permanent. So if you start now and come the fall, you should see a huge difference in the numbers.
I appreciate it, Coach. I think you'll have to make me the host so I can stop the recording here, but you're good.
How do I do that?
I don't know. It's on there somewhere. You have to go to participants.
More participants. There we go. Hey, Coach. There we go.
All right. I'm going to go ahead and stop the recording.